Viewer discretion is advised. Oh, it's gonna be one of those animes. I just finished watching Goblin Slayer, and it was definitely an anime. As always, it's up to me to change the name of this anime to something a bit more realistic. Dungeons and Goblins. I have been killing goblins for 5 years and maxed out my level. And finally, Goblin Slayer. Come on, man, that's just the name of the anime. And why do they all revolve around goblins? Around what? Goblins. Goblin these nuts. Get out, you're fired. Okay. If you wish that you could be as focused as this man is about killing goblins, be sure to subscribe to my channel and join my Discord. Let me give you a satire synopsis of this anime. Just a fair warning, this anime is pretty graphic, which includes some scenes that may require you to bleach your eyes out afterwards. Our lighthearted anime begins with Priestess. That's right, none of these characters have names in this anime, only being called by their race or occupation. She becomes a member of the Adventurers Guild and gets invited to a nice party. Why am I getting Sword Art Online flashbacks? They invite her so that they can, as you may have guessed, slay some goblins.
Goblin なんて4人もいれば十分ですよ。
These guys are so screwed.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Let's just say, it doesn't end well for them, especially the women. Priestess has no choice but to run away until she's saved by
Goblin Slayer.
That's the name of the anime! Also, yeah, this is his legal name. Well, out with the old party and in with the new, so she tags along to finish off the rest of the goblins. When I say tag along, I mean that she acts as his nightlight. Oh no, there are some poor goblin babies here too. They're probably gonna take them in and raise them to get along with humans, changing the way this world works.
Man, fuck them kids, bro.
That was more than double the XP than usual. We now learn that this is one of the most common occurrences in this world, but in all of their divine wisdom, they did it anyways. If I was in this world, I wouldn't be no adventurer. I would be working in the city as a merchant named, well, I guess merchant. Now, put yourself into her position. You just witnessed people die in front of you, and worse, giving you lifelong trauma. But that armor is kind of attractive in CGI form. So the real question is, who wouldn't join Goblin Slayer?
Oh shit. Here we go again.
In this world, nobody takes goblin slaying missions because they're too low level. Luckily, our main character has extreme trauma, so now all he thinks about is goblins when he's sleeping, eating, collecting a harem, and drinking.
Goblin Slayer さん。
Goblin か。
あ、いえ、ゴブリンじゃありません。あ、だからって帰らないでください。
They go on a few quests killing goblins by starting forest fires while asking the most philosophical questions.
奴らにとってのゴブリンだ。
Please God, give me a new partner who isn't a complete psychopath.
君、同じ白磁だろ？よかったら俺らと一緒に行かないか？
I'll pass. Since we do only have 2 glorified exterminators, may as well add a few more to the party. High Elf Archer, Lizard Priest, and Dwarf Shaman. At this point, no name could surprise me. They request Goblin Slayer's help to, well, kill goblins. After going on a few missions with him, watching him decimate goblins, violate the Geneva Convention by using tear gas, they all come to the same conclusion. Yeah, that's the guy I want in my party. Yet, for some dumb reason, they say, hey, no using poison or fire. Even though they almost die every episode, maybe the poison or fire could have helped. If you're interested in playing, is Goblin Slayer gonna be CGI in this scene? Or drawn? Or maybe even just for the great dialogue?
よくわかんねえけど、思い切りやれば死ぬな、これ。
Be sure to check out Goblin Slayer, starting from episode 2. Now, let's talk about the characters in this anime, starting off with the man who has goblins for brains. When he was yet a young Goblin Slayer, his village was attacked. He hid in a closet the whole time as he watched goblins do unspeakable things. From that moment on, he dedicated his life to killing goblins, but not just the men.
And the children, too.
Wow, what a dark past. I can't wait to learn more about this character's personality. That's basically his whole personality. Wake up, kill goblins while counting them like Count Dracula, then go to sleep. I mean, many times in the show, people beg him to help him with things that aren't related to goblins, and he replies with,
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Wait, does all this goblin hate technically make him a racist?
人前に出てこないゴブリンだけがいいゴブリンだ。
You're done. You're probably thinking, with a personality like that, how does he get all the women? Come on, man. Do you see this CGI? That should answer the question. This man never shows his full face to the audience, pulling a reverse Kakashi, only showing the bottom half. Typically, the armor doesn't come off, because what if a goblin just happened to attack when he took it off? That's right, the helmet stays on during stork hours. For this tier list, I let Goblin Slayer himself name the tiers. Slayer of Goblins tier, the priestess of this anime, Priestess, who, unlike most healers in anime, is actually pretty useful, about 3 times a day. Since this is influenced by D&D, it does make sense that she can only use her abilities 3 times a day, but it's kind of stupid. Now that I think about it, we really don't know much about this character, except that she pisses herself when she sees goblins, and she has a crush on a suit of armor. Although, she was pretty cool in the last episode, and is probably one of the better healer characters that I've seen in anime, which still isn't that impressive. Not a goblin tier. Who's that tsundere? I don't know, looks like a high elf archer? It's High Elf Archer, the only one that I've ever gotten right, and it's this. She is, as you may have guessed, the archer of the group, who's over 2,000 years old. After being converted to the great goblin slaying religion, she decides to join the party. She also gained the shocking trait of being in love with Goblin Slayer.
Oh my god!
Not a goblin tier. Lizard Priest, the man who speaks to the bones. He summons many different things out of bones and likes cheese. Yes, this is in fact his whole character. Not a goblin tier. Dwarf Shaman, the final member of the party, who is the optimistic member of the group, possessing a wide variety of spells, yet has even less screen time than the guild woman. Not a goblin tier. These characters may all have bad names, but at least they're not called Cowgirl. Guess why she's called that? She's the character that sits around waiting for Goblin Slayer to come back, and is totally not just in the story for fan service. Not a goblin tier. Speaking of fan service, we get Guild Girl, the receptionist of the guild. Her job is to tell new people, hey, you probably shouldn't take that goblin slaying quest, you'll probably die. They proceed to die, and she repeats the process again. Something truly unexpected of this character is that she has a thing for Goblin Slayer. Even though she has tons of guys after her, she always says, if they don't have PTSD, they ain't for me. Not a goblin tier. Witch, the character who somehow talks even slower than Eeyore. But what about that fan service though? Not a goblin tier. We also get the crossover nobody asked for, of Berserk x Goblin Slayer. That's right, Guts appears in this anime, who somehow looks even better than he does in his own series. Not that anybody watched it. Not a goblin tier. Time for final thoughts and rating the anime. I guess I'll start with what everybody wants me to talk about. Which goblin was my favorite? The answer is clearly the pirate one. Fine, when it comes down to the grape scenes in this anime, I really don't care. Could I have done without them? Sure, it doesn't really add much, but it does give the anime a darker tone. And if that's what the author is going for, it worked, because I now have a deep hatred of goblins. At least its first episode didn't scar me nearly as much as Nagatoro's bullying in the first episode of that anime. The plot of this anime was honestly kind of boring. I mean, how many more types of goblins is he going to be able to kill? Clearly a lot, since there is going to be another season and there are multiple light novels. This anime did have quite a bit of fan service and really random stuff, such as how somehow sleeping next to a virgin can somehow heal a person. The characters in this anime were mostly mediocre at best, except Goblin Slayer. I think that his quirk of only caring about goblins was hilarious, and he had some really cool moments. I have nothing negative to say about Priestess, and if anything, she added what a regular person would be feeling in these situations. The animation was good, and while the CGI was definitely an interesting choice, it didn't ruin the anime for me. If anything, it just led me to playing the game. Is it going to be CGI Goblin Slayer or regular Goblin Slayer? When it comes to the soundtracks, they were fine, but I really did like the opening. While my anime list gave this anime a score of around 7.4 out of 10, I will be giving a score of 7.5 Goblin Slayers from Goblin Slayer out of 10.
Hello, Outro Lunar here. Click here if you want to see my channel. Click over here if you want to see my most recent video. Click over here if you want to see the recommended video. Alright, bye.